Hey everybody. I don't know how many people are following the news, but last night Israel was hit. Israel was hit by over 400 rockets shot by Hamas and the Islamic Jihad in Gaza. Can you imagine? Over 400 rockets were shot at Israel. Over 400. Thankfully, because of Iron Dome system, Israel shot 100 of them out of the sky. I can't tell you how expensive each one. It's $500,000 each Iron Dome rocket to shoot one of their rockets out of the sky. Basically, Israel spent millions of dollars defending Israeli citizens last night, while Hamas and the Islamic Jihad shot over 400 rockets. Thank God only one person was killed. Only one out of 400 rockets. Only one person was killed, and there were a couple of people injured. Okay? It just so happens the one person who was killed was an illegal Muslim Arab who lived in the area of Hebron, who was illegally in Israel. Alright? That just happens to be the one person who was killed last night from the 400 plus rockets. Okay. Anyone following the news knows over 20,000 rockets have been shot at Israel from Gaza since 2002. We're talking about 16 years of rocket attacks, over 20,000 rockets. Can you imagine any country in the world living under such circumstances, allowing an enemy to shoot rockets at its citizens? If Gaza was next to New York City shooting hundreds of rockets, do you think America would not just flatten Gaza? Canada, flatten Gaza? Russia, flatten Gaza? Even Britain or France, if hundreds of rockets are being shot at them, they would flatten Gaza, not Israel. Israel doesn't flatten Gaza. We have pinpoint missions trying not to hurt innocent civilians. Okay? That is what is going on. And yet again, the Israeli government is trying to come up with a ceasefire so as not to go to war in Gaza to stop the rocket fire. You hear that? Okay, so if you want to understand why Israel has not gone into Gaza, or has not and is still not deciding to go in, watch the video I did today with Caroline Glick, where she explains the crazy and horrific geopolitical situation Israel is in, and the fact that the war in Gaza is really a war with Iran. Hamas and the Islamic Jihad are proxies of Iran, just like Hezbollah is a proxy of Iran. So basically, the rockets being shot at Israel from Gaza are rockets from Iran. It is a war that Iran is having with Israel. And if Israel wants to stop the rockets from Gaza, it has to also get rid of the Iranian missile system in Lebanon, where Hezbollah has over 150,000 rockets aimed at Israel, because the Hezbollah is another Iranian proxy. So Israel has a two-front war against Iran on our borders. The northern border in Lebanon, the southern border in Gaza. And Gaza is just the shiny object. The people say, oh, go after Gaza. But the true war is with Lebanon. So the only way for Israel to stop the Iranian war in Gaza is to stop the Iranian war in Lebanon before they start shooting those 150,000 rockets at us. Now, what is going on with anti-Semitism? What is the real anti-Semitism nobody is talking about? Just 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, the whole Jewish world, the whole world was focused on the Pittsburgh massacre in the synagogue and talking about anti-Semitism in America and the growth of anti-Semitism. Guess what? Over 400 plus rockets have been shot at Israeli citizens, and most of the Jewish world, most of the media, most of the world, most of the mainstream media are silent about it. Silent! You want to know where the real anti-Semitism is taking place in the world? Right now from Gaza. That's the real anti-Semitism. Iran has a plan to destroy Israel. They are very clear. They always talk about destroying Israel. Their whole nuclear program is about destroying Israel. Is that not anti-Semitism? To destroy the one Jewish country in the world. Is that not anti-Semitism? What is more anti-Semitic than wanting to destroy Israel and murder every Jew that lives here? That is the pinnacle, the epitome of anti-Semitism. So the rockets being shot out from Gaza, the 400 plus rockets last night, and the 20,000 plus rockets since 2002, that is the epitome of anti-Semitism. And yet silence. The Muslim leadership of Iran are the Nazis of today. That is Nazism, the destruction of the Jewish people. Yet people are silent about the anti-Semitism of Iran. And Obama made the Iran deal with the worst anti-Semites in the world, with Iranian mullahs. He's the one who enabled anti-Semitism by making the Iran deal with the Iranian mullahs. There is nothing more anti-Semitic than that. He enabled anti-Semites. Trump is not enabling anti-Semites. He might not be saying everything we wanted to say against the anti-Semites, but he's not an anti-Semite and he's not enabling anti-Semites. The Iranian Muslim regime are anti-Semites because they want to destroy Israel and kill and murder Jews. That is the epitome of anti-Semitism, yet everyone's silent about that. And what's the other case of anti-Semitism everybody is silent about? Palestine. If you missed my video last week with the author Shai Ben Tekoa, he has a whole book, The Phantom Nation, how the whole term of Palestine and Palestinians are anti-Semitic. That is anti-Semitism. Palestine, using the term Palestine today, is anti-Semitism in its core. Why, you ask? Well, think about it. When you say Palestine or Palestinians, you are basically saying and admitting that Jews have no place in this land of Israel. We are outsiders and therefore occupiers, and therefore, according to certain world bodies, there is lawful permission to then kill Jews living here because this place is Palestine and Jews don't belong. So we're occupiers and they can kill us. What is more anti-Semitic than that? The second we agree to use the fake term and call these fake people who self-identify as Palestinians, when we use their terminology, that is anti-Semitism. Because the whole purpose of the fake people called Palestinians is to destroy Israel. Yasser Arafat said so himself. The whole strategy of creating a fake nation called Palestinians was to destroy Israel and murder Jews. So the two biggest anti-Semitic movements today that they themselves embody what Hitler and the Nazis were about destroying the Jews, are the Islamic regime of Iran and anyone who is part of this cult called Palestine, which is about destroying Israel. Those two things are the epitome of anti-Semitism today, and no one's talking about it. Silence. Iran, a deal must be made with the biggest anti-Semites of Iran, the Hitler and Nazis of Iran. Palestine, Palestinians, a peace deal must be made with them, the biggest anti-Semites who want to destroy Israel, specifically created as a people to destroy Israel. Love you. Mwah. Bye. My son's going to his youth activities, saying goodbye to him. Those are the two biggest forms of real anti-Semitism today. And the media is going crazy, and the Jewish world is going crazy about Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh was horrible, and some people are saying it's the biggest anti-Semitic attack on American soil. It might be, but that's one pinpoint attack that everyone came out and spoke out against. But nobody is speaking out against this Iranian war against Israel to destroy Israel and how that has to be dealt with. And no one is talking about how the whole issue of Palestine is anti-Semitism, and yet we have to make peace with them. We have to give our land away that they'll just use for further terror to kill us even more. No, folks. Help us get the truth out there. The Islamic Republic of Iran is anti-Semitism today. The whole fake narrative of a people, fake people called Palestinians, and the use of the term Palestine as if there was once a country here called that by that name, that is anti-Semitism. The whole Palestinian movement is about destroying Israel. The whole Islamic regime of Iran's strategy is to destroy Israel. Those are anti-Semitism. Help me spread the truth out there, people. When people talk about anti-Semitism, make them understand the biggest forms of anti-Semitism are Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, and this whole fake cause called Palestine. Those are anti-Semitism. Let's get people to wake up to the truth. Ari stood for the truth. I stand for the truth. It's about getting the truth out there. Our lives his life was, and my life continues to be, the journey of truth. Help us share this truth. Whether you share this video, whether you share the information I'm posting about it, whether you share your own information about it. The Islamic Republic of Iran is anti-Semitism because they want to destroy Israel. The whole cause called Palestinians is anti-Semitism because they want to destroy Israel. Please help me get the truth out there and share this video, folks. You want to do something in Ari's memory? Share that information. This is the most important information. And my final note, even though we have this horrible challenge of having to deal with true anti-Semitism, of wanting to murder Jews and educate their children to murder Jews, whether of the Islamic Republic of Iran or whether these fake people called Palestinians who live in Judea and Samaria and Gaza. Israel, the Jews in Israel, we're going to thrive, we're going to survive. Thank God we have our own country, thank God we have our own army. We don't always do what's necessary and we have all these geopolitical pressures upon us, but at least we can defend ourselves. You want to know what I'm pessimistic about? I'm pessimistic about the Jews in the exile in America and in Western Europe. With the growth of anti-Semitism there, they're not able to defend themselves. And I'm pessimistic about the future of the existence of a strong jury in the exile in Western Europe, in the Western world, and even in North America, in the United States of America. So I'm pessimistic about that. And yes, there is anti-Semitism and it's growing. But even though we face the worst anti-Semitism here in Israel, from Iran trying to destroy us, and from this fake cause of people called Palestinians trying to destroy us, we're going to survive. We're going to survive and we're going to thrive. And we here in Israel are going to be a light unto the nations. We are blessed and so blessed to have the state of Israel. So blessed, and we can't take Israel for granted. The whole freedom-loving world cannot take Israel for granted. We are the front line of the freedom-loving world. Stand with us and tell everyone to stand with us. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Make it a good, safe week, and pray for the people of Israel, because whether there's a ceasefire or no ceasefire, they're just going to continue, because their goal is to suck Israel into a war so that then Lebanon, the Hezbollah in Lebanon, will shoot their 150,000 rockets on us, and they'll have Gaza to shoot rockets at us, and it's not going to be pretty. The day is going to happen, and that war is going to have to take place because we're going to have to stop it. But pray for the people of Israel, pray for the state of Israel. We will survive. It's going to be ugly. We will survive. So thank God for Israel, everybody. Shalom from the Jewish ancestral homelands in the Judean hills. Take care, stay safe, and pray.